Hey, Audio One Austin here, back in action for more Great Ace Attorney 2 Attraction, The Resolve. Or rather, Resolve. We are on case 4 of this particular game. It's the 2nd of November, at 12:33 p.m., the Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber, as we just gotten past the first half of this first part of the trial. Oh, there you are, Uno! What gets you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Slums. Gina? Sure about what you said in there? That the boss, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Slums. I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear, if it wasn't deliberate, it puts me in mind the last case we worked on, and Dr. Seath. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Grayson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Well, think of it. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Slums? You were taken in by their trick? No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Slum's suite, I mean. That's right, Snooze! And it was me who took them in! Thanks to the tip-off by a good old law-abiding citizen! Indeed. Yours truly. So it's gonna be that pair in the witness standing next. Is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Grayson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why wouldn't the Inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Grayson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound income. Don't tell him, with the same brush as you, Shlums! Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Grayson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks, for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Grayson, Lord Van Zeeks, and Kazuma. Felt as though we knew we'd arrived at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Cosmo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see? Wonder. I get the feeling we're in a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Salto? Yes! The 2nd of November, 1 p.m. Old Bailey, courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Brock von Zeeks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asugi. My lord, have you summoned the witness as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. We arrived not long ago for the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. Well, why is one eating lots of spaghetti? These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabian de Rosa, a descendant of the great de Rosa family from Nice in France. My name is Peppino de Rosa. I'm the third son of the great Familia de Rosa, the landowners from Napoleon. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduated from Temzik are the future leaders of Europe. But do you have any idea what a boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alas, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do. So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Boy, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is a charming of the Carolina's bros. See, Acapone? Listen to me, Babino. I have two things to say to you. Je? Are you about to tell me about your grande antidotes, evidente? Firstly, I want you to stop calling me the couple. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Chipano? There it is. The couple's trump card. The furrowed brow. It is deep, huh? Couple? The furrow and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oh, that is, good. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud? Aloris, I will explain it. No, capillo? Leave it to me! As you see, we both had the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capillo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like the Trevi fountain. Wow! Those dogs! One day the world will respect us redheads! Every night, he would bury his head in his butt. Cease bene, Bino. Enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. Oi, Jessica. I am honored that you'd have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league having plain colored hair, and that you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league. You can receive a weekly income of £4. On the day specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in troves at a Park Pacific in the advertisement. From each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. As with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange barrow. The day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Boy, I have seen more red-headed people in one day that I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now, every time I see the Capallo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, what have we summoned here today? Sorry? This date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Rosio and Mr. De Rosi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. God, what are they gonna do now? The man in the photograph. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Like a Pio? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You've given sworn testimony that this man in this photograph was not present. Can you be certain? I'm quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came into the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. With this attitude, we get nowhere. Huh? He's really sulking you now? This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah! I have the answer! Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Grayson was investigating the Red-Headed League. Which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. Alright, what are they saying here? We had more than 1,000 red-head people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. So, he's... I don't recall a man in this photograph. Press. He doesn't look at all familiar? No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people, says the con artist. Between them, they interview 1,000 people with red hair. It would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, signore. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think that this man was in the park. He's not going to give the court a definite, it seems. Capino, you don't see a man like this, huh? Okay, let's... He did raise the question, so I assume that's not the case, but let's go back real quick to see what it says. On Line Street. I think it's the fact that, like, they might not have seen him in the park. Hold it! But according to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oh, that's true. My eyes are burning with the end of the day. Surely then you can actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, but not when you have 1,000 red heads scratching around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we could recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact. If there was a man with a red at the face, but his mustache did not match the color, this I do not think I could have forgotten. Cosmo said these two have only been shown a photograph. We're told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his fish and chips? Yeah, honestly. I could certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was only looking at the heads of these applications. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than that the caviar and smoked salmon. Oh, the spaghetti! Me, I love the spaghetti! Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. Si, Capone, si. I say it again and again. I love that little Mario ass jump. So we're gonna press this again. We clearly did not get the right detail. Let's keep going. Yeah, feed them something else. So they weren't looking for that, so we need more artificial stuff. I don't think occupation would matter, honestly. His name? I could certainly appreciate that you just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in the situation. What if I told you that the man's name was Grayson? That man in the photograph is a Monsieur Grayson? Yes. Names. They are boring. I do not listen to any of them. Oh. It was not a real interview, huh? It was just a for show? Why would I remember the names? That's right. This changes nothing. This man in the photograph was not there, as we have already said. I see. This is a little to be gained for pursuing this point further. Tell them again what you said before, Bambino. Si, Capone, si! I say it again and again. Okay, so let's try the profession then, because clearly it's something. There's no point there, so maybe... Because they were trying to avoid the cops, and I could definitely see him being like, oh, we were trying to avoid the cop. His profession. I could certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red-haired piece was actually a detective? The man in the photograph, a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious, decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Pursue.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Je sais. I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he just say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Bambino. You have said enough already. But why, Capu? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord! Order! 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 Find this Volte face in your testimony, witnesses? It's simple. A man who was at the park said to... there was no such man. Monday, what are you saying, Cop? Have you forgotten I haven't forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Cop, basta. You beat me at many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Objection.
Todd, the damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. There was a man who came to the park, and he said he was inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like this man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean-shaven. His eyes were sadder. His chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever, then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are a real detective, show us the proof. See, the couple here, he doesn't take, sense, nonsense, But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? the papers are fake. I accepto a capo, you're a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? What happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, "You are under investigation." So I took his papers from him and chased them out of the park. It was fantastical! And look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? He had it coming. He made us very scared. I mean, you know, the police say that all the time, so... But he was not who he said that he was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be pertinent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence. What do you like of them? Now, let us return to the witness's testimony. Okay, so we're gonna go over here. Watch as, like, we open it and it's immediately that. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Oh, it doesn't have a picture, does it? Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of air. It's Tobias Grayson? Wait, what? The Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. But how? And the department and identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? It's an official warrant. So clearly you do have something to do with them. Victim has nothing to, yes, he does. He does have something to do with you specifically. Boom.
Objection.
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection.
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. That is the boss's! No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Grayson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zut alors! Hold up! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? Aw, what are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting... Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No. Hold on. The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
I know nothing. I don't know nothing.
Pull yourself together, Bimbano. Mundu, you could behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no?
I know. I wish I had returned to Italia.
Stop crying, Bambino. Please, otherwise I...
Mommy, stop your whining. Stop talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story. No, I'm not...
I don't know nothing.
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. For crying out loud. And with that, next time, everybody, the detective and the identification. Till then, thank you for watching. Sayonara. Bye-bye.